Welcome back. So here comes the second unit, which is about the MAC protocol, that is the Medium Access Control Protocol. We have one single medium that we have, our transmission channel, that's the wireless channel over here. So how every station is going to access that medium at the same time? Because every station has some data and it wants to transmit that data to any other station or nodes. We can call it as nodes or stations. So during the transmission, if all the stations, otherwise many stations start the transmission at the same time, there comes a problem. So multiple stations accessing the medium is the basic problem in wireless networks, and of which so there is a bandwidth available for the transmission channel, and who is going to gain that bandwidth to transmit its data? So that's the first issue, the bandwidth efficiency, or the bandwidth is being efficiently utilized by the stations. So that's a greater issue that happens in this ad hoc wireless networks also. And the second one is quality of service. So how best or how optimally we can plan or make the networks to transmit its data so that it reaches the other end successfully. So there is a possibility of interference happening in wireless networks. Even though there is a possibility of that interference, that is even after the possibility of interference, how the data can be reached or data can be successfully sent to the destination, so that the flow of data is maintained. So that is the second issue to be considered in this ad hoc wireless networks. And the third one is the synchronization. So always the sender and the receiver has to be in a synchronized manner, so that when the sender is willing to send the data, the receiver is willing to receive and process the data. So synchronization is a very important aspect in order to check the availability of the node also, and then to communicate among each other, then confirm that we can start the communication process between ourselves. So that the synchronization plays a major role that has to be checked while we are designing the medium access control protocol for this MANET. And some more issues that has to be considered before we design the medium access control protocol. It includes the error prone shared broadcast channel. As you can remember, this is a wireless networks, so every node has got a coverage range. So it knows about other stations who are all within its coverage range. So if suppose many stations are covering within this coverage range, then there is a possibility of the shared broadcast channel. So what happens? There is the same channel and the broadcast messages will be sent to many number of nodes. So there is a possibility of error happening during this broadcast, since because many nodes are being dealt within this same channel. And the second one is every node acts in its own way. So the mobile ad hoc network is distributed in nature. There is no centralized controlling entity present over here, because it doesn't depend upon a fixed infrastructure. And hence, because of this distributed nature, every node may follow a different routing protocol, and that may hinder to the synchronization of the sender node and the receiver node, if they both are in the same coverage range, or it might be in another area. So the distributed nature is also an issue to be considered while we are designing the optimal medium access control protocol or strategy for our manets. And the third important feature to be considered is the mobility of the nodes. The mobile ad hoc network here, the nodes are moving. Okay. Suppose there is a possibility at the first data transmission, the nodes might be in the same coverage range. And after some time, one of the node might have gone to some other place due to its mobile nature. So what happens? So the connectivity is lost and it has to now perform multi-hop communication to search the destination and to make your data reachable to the destination. Hence, the mobility is a greater issue to be considered in the mobile ad hoc network, um, especially in the mobile ad hoc network when compared to the other networks. And the fourth important problem that happens in normally in the wireless networks are the hidden terminal problem and the exposed terminal problems. So sometimes the station is hidden, that's why it caused a problem. And sometimes because of the exposure of the station, it causes a problem. Let's see an example for this hidden terminal and exposed terminal problem. In this picture, you are seeing the hidden terminal problem. So A and C are two stations. A, B, and C are three stations over here. So in this, A cannot see the station C. Okay. A and B are in coverage range and B and C are in a coverage range. So A and B are known to each other, B and C are known to each other. But A and C doesn't know each other. So what happens when A is initiating a transmission? Since C is not in its coverage range, C doesn't know that A has started the transmission. So at a point, suppose A is also starting its transmission and B also started transmission. Then what happens? Both the data is being sent to the same destination, B. Then at that time, both the data will reach the coverage range of B and hence interference will happen and there will be data drops. This is called as the hidden terminal problem. Then comes the exposed terminal problem. So as you can see in the picture, A, B, C and D are there in the scenario or four nodes available in this wireless network. And here, as you can see, A is able to see the coverage range of C as well as C is able to see the coverage range of A and C is able to see the coverage range of B. So what happens here? B wants to send the data to A, which means it will be sent as a broadcast radio signals. So C understands, since it is a broadcast radio signal, C is understanding that B has started a transmission. Okay. But the intended destination is only A, not C. Whereas at the same time, C is having a data, it has to send to node D. What the station C will think is, it will understand that B has started a transmission. So if I start a transmission, the my data will be lost. So it stops sending its data transmission towards D. But actually it is not at all a problem since because the coverage range of B is known to C. Since because the coverage range of B is exposed to C, it understands wrongly that he is not able to send to D. B is sending, it will think, station C will think that B is trying to send to C. That is the greatest problem. Okay. And since because C's transmission, C's coverage range is exposed to C, this problem is called as the exposed terminal problem. But actually what happens, B is sending to A only, whereas C's intended recipient is D only. So both the transmissions can happen at the same time since because of the exposure of the other stations, some node is stopping its transmission itself. That is why it gets the name exposed terminal problem. So the hidden terminal problem and the exposed terminal problem are greater problems that happens in the wireless networks. The same thing applies for the is available in the mobile ad hoc network also. So when we are generating or designing the medium access control protocols for mobile ad hoc network, then we need to consider all these problems into aspects. Then only we'll be able to create an optimal medium access control strategy or a protocol. Thank you. Stay tuned for more videos.